My opponent is Devon Smith, and he's a tall fighter. He likes to strike, so I'm prepared for him to want to stand up. And if that's the case, that's fine with me because I like to stand up, and if he wants to take it to the ground, I like it there too.
My opponent is Chalmers of Smash Combat in Calgary, and I know that he's incredibly strong, obviously, and a bit of a wrestling background. I know that he likes to stand up and strike, so that's what I'll be looking for.
So how I plan on winning this fight is by making smart decisions, coming out aggressive, staying calm, and listening to my corner.
To win this fight, I'm gonna stay the hell away from his strength, obviously, and try to keep the distance and land punches and put him to sleep.
My first fight was 22 seconds, and I didn't get a chance to get into all of the skills involved with MMA, so I'm looking forward to testing out my new skills with my upcoming opponent.
I know that Zach is coming here with a lot of fans tonight, and I'm hoping that when the fight's over and they raise my hand, I'll be leaving with those fans, so looking forward to it.
A very exciting fight coming up now between Chalmers and Devon Smith. Both of these guys know how to end a fight in a hurry. You saw it in the package right there. Chalmers just dropping his last opponent like a sack of potatoes in the center of the cage. And Devon Smith has dropped a couple guys himself.
Well, Devon Smith has very heavy hands, and you talk about the strength of Chalmers. Chalmers does strongman competitions, and if you've ever seen those on TV, they lift those 365-pound Atlas stones from the ground all the way up and put them up over their head. So you can imagine the power that came from that guillotine choke, and you saw it. Trenton Rao, his opponent, was lifeless after, and Devon Smith is going to have a tough test with this strength of Chalmers, but Devon Smith, those big hands, it should be a great fight.
Well, this fight could be over in a heartbeat between these two very strong fighters. We'll head inside the cage right now to Jaden Nance.
This School of Hard Knocks fight is a professional bout in the 205-pound division and is brought to you by Predator Drilling. And now, let's meet the fighters.
Coming down to us first out of Progressive Fighting Academy in Lethbridge, but based in La Ronge, Saskatchewan, is Devon Smith. They call him Mr. Boom Truck, Jeremy, after he ran over his first few opponents here in the Hard Knocks fighting cage. Devon Smith was dominant in his amateur career, winning both the light heavyweight and heavyweight titles, holding them simultaneously before turning professional.
Well, this is a guy who has the ability to end people. His hands are huge, and I'm talking about the physical size of his hands are massive. And when he throws those things, they do damage. It doesn't matter what angle he's at, they do damage. He has a win in 8 seconds where he walked out and just one-punched the guy and ended him, and he's done it over and over and over again. His only trouble has been against those wrestlers, but since he's moved to Progressive Fighting Academy, he's really worked on his grappling, on his jiu-jitsu, and really has put himself in a situation where he can make a serious run at being an excellent pro fighter.
Yeah, Devon Smith, again, no stranger to the Hard Knocks cage. I believe he is the Hard Knocks fighter with the most Hard Knocks fights under his belt. I think this may be the 10th time that we're seeing Devon Smith here in the Hard Knocks cage. Two-time amateur champion Devon Smith steps into the Hard Knocks cage to take on Chalmers next.
And his opponent.
Well, you can hear the crowd for Team Chalmers, Chalmers packing the stands here tonight as he comes down to the cage out of Calgary, Alberta, and Smash Combat. 1-0 as a professional, and left his opponent just in the middle of the ring, dropped him. He was unconscious from a standing guillotine, and that's not something you see very often. Gives you a hint to the strength of Zach Chalmers.
You saw it in the package, and again, this is a guy who lifts these 365-pound Atlas stones in the strongman competitions he does. He lifts them up over his head, so the amount of strength that you need to do that, to be able to get that on somebody's neck, you can imagine how much pressure was on there, to the point where Trenton Rao, his last opponent, went from active and attacking to unconscious.
So Zach Chalmers getting set to step in against Devon Smith, also a man who can end a fight in the blink of an eye. We've seen Devon Smith. He's got the record for the fastest knockout in Hard Knocks history. He again had 2 title belts to his credit in the past, and expect big things from both of these guys. A big age difference between the two, though. Zach Chalmers, 40 years old, but if I look half that good when I'm 40, Jeremy, I'll look 4 times as good as I do now.
Yeah, I was going to say, if I look half that good now, I'd be happy. And you see in the corner Jordan McKay, who is working with him, one of the better fighters at the 170-pound division in this country. And that's a guy, originally Zach Chalmers was just there to do conditioning, strength and conditioning for MMA guys. Then the MMA guy said, hey, you're in pretty good shape. You used to be a wrestler. Let's see what you can do in the MMA cage. And we saw it in his last fight. As we take a look at the tail of the tape, the big difference you see is the height. At 4 inches taller for Devon Smith, his reach is unheard of, and he knows that he has to stay away from the strength of Zach Chalmers. Zach Chalmers, 14 years the senior of Devon Smith.
So both fighters ready to go. The crowd is into it, and now for our official introductions, here's Jaden Nance.
And now, the official Hard Knocks fighter introductions. In the blue corner for Pro Coat Coatings, he's 0-1 as a professional, 26 years old, and stands 6 feet, 3 inches tall. He weighed in at 204 1/2 pounds, fighting out of Progressive Fighting Academy from La Ronge. Please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, Devon, Mr. Boom Truck Smith! And in the red corner for Curtis E. Chrysler, he's 1-0 as a professional, 40 years old, and stands 5 feet, 10 inches tall. He weighed in at 204 pounds, fighting out of Smash Combat from Calgary. Please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, Zach the Barbarian Chalmers! This bout will be contested under professional rules. The referee in charge of the Hard Knocks action is Mr. Adam Cheadle.
Adam Cheadle, our referee, as Zach Chalmers gets set to take on Devon Smith. Jeremy, the hardest thing for Zach Chalmers, I think, in this fight is going to be getting inside the reach of Devon Smith.
Well, the reach is extensive for Smith, so it'll be interesting to see how Zach Chalmers deals with it, and they're going to start off here with a nice touch of the gloves.
Chalmers and Smith squaring off in the center of the cage. Again, a bull rush there from Chalmers as he tries to get in. Smith answers with a couple of right hands down low, and now trying for a guillotine of his own, looking for the takedown. Now Chalmers going for it. Smith has a guillotine in. We'll see if he can lock in that other arm or whether or not Chalmers will be able to get out of it.
And he does have a win by a guillotine, and it's going to be another one. And got to be a frustrated Zach Chalmers, and Mr. Boom Truck gets his very first professional win, ending Zach Chalmers by a guillotine, and got to be a happy Devon Smith.
They call him Mr. Boom Truck. They've got to change it to the villain. Anytime there's a massive crowd support for one of Devon Smith's opponents, he ends that fight and ends it early. Devon Smith, the first win of his pro career, and a big smile on the face of that young man.
Well, and again, here's take a look at the replay. Zach Chalmers very strong, but once Devon Smith locked it in, I think this is where the inexperience of Zach Chalmers comes in. Devon Smith was able to finish him. Chalmers didn't have any way to deal with that that submission had to tap out. So Devon Smith, a big win here, and again, he's got to be very happy with this decision. It's one of those things that he came in here and he used to be known as the Giant Killer. That came off of his first fight when he was up against a big hometown crowd and he was able to knock that guy out in 8 seconds. This time coming into Calgary, a big hometown crowd here for Zach Chalmers, and Devon Smith was able to catch him underneath the chin whilst he was trying to take him down, and a big win here for the Giant Killer, Mr. Boom Truck Devon Smith, who again, it was on a bit of a losing streak facing off against big, strong wrestlers, a little bit of an exercise demon here. And it's one of those things that's, for Devon Smith, a very big win for him.
And now, the official decision brought to you by Predator Drilling. The winner by tap out due to guillotine choke at 28 seconds in the very first round, in the blue corner, Devon, Mr. Boom Truck Smith!
Devon Smith is your winner. He's going to be in the center of the cage with Ryan.
Been a while since we got to talk here in the center of the cage, Devon. They call you Mr. Boom Truck. I'm thinking they got to start calling you the villain. Every time the guy packs the room against you, you come out, you end the fight quick. Good to get your first pro win.
Oh, it feels amazing. It's first time in Calgary I've been able to talk to you, so I'm pretty happy about that.
You come out, you moved down to Lethbridge, joined up with the guys from PFA down there. How big a difference did they make in your game?
At PFA, it's obviously the difference is now where my weaknesses are, I've got strengths, and I think I showed that tonight, and I'm going to continue working with them, and sky's the limit.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it one more time for your winner, Devon Smith.
So a big win for Mr. Boom Truck Devon Smith as he's able to come into Zach Chalmers' hometown, catch him on a guillotine, and really exercise some demons. His last fight at amateur was a loss to a strong wrestler. His first fight in professional was lost to a strong wrestler. This has got to feel good for Devon Smith.
Hey, Mr. Boom Truck comes in, gets a great win. He had a lot of wins as an amateur, all from striking. He had a hard time with wrestlers, and he's made a big improvement. I still don't like that he pulled guard. It's ultimately not going to work, but it was a great win for him tonight.
Still not happy